This little video attempts to show you me servicing my oil burning Aga. As you can see, it's a 4-oven model. It was installed in 1992 and it's not been converted from solid fuel. It was installed as an oil burning Aga. Okay, I've put newspaper down in front of the Aga and let's get going. First I lift off the cover to the burner. Obviously the Aga's cold, it was turned off last night, so it's stone cold. You should never service a warm Aga. And with my 14mm spanner, I'm going to disconnect the oil supply pipe. And that's now freed the feed pipe to the burner. The burner itself isn't fixed in place and it can just be withdrawn. It's very heavy, so do take care. But you just pull it out and rest it carefully on the newspaper. Now for the burner itself, all you do is take it to pieces, remembering how to put it back together again. So the first thing is I lift off the cover and you can see I've got 4 concentric metal shells, and we take these off one by one. And now we're left with the burner itself. The first thing we can do is inspect the wicks. There are 2 wicks that sit in these little channels. Now actually, I think they're okay. I don't think there's any need to replace them. But if you did have to replace them, you can easily buy new wick and just cut it to the same size and cut these little grooves to match what was there already. Now lift off the cover of the little crucible. And this is where you're going to focus all your time. What happens is the burning oil builds up a lot of soot, and over time that gradually blocks up the oil inlet, because actually what's happening under this burner is that the oil comes along this pipe and up the centre into the crucible. So the first thing I'm going to do is try and release the oil inlet here with a 12mm spanner. Now I've come outside to the garden bench because this is the mucky part of the job, so I've just carried out my burner base like this, and we're just going to use a piece of old coat hanger, a 3mm drill and an old screwdriver. And this is the mucky job because you hack away like this, getting rid of all the soot and carbonised oil. Now this actually is not at all bad because I do it regularly, so you may find your own burner is a lot worse. Before now I've seen Agas where the hole in the middle is almost completely blocked, so we just keep scraping until it's free of all that carbon. And then we ream with our wire down here to make sure that's completely free. And again along there. And finally I use my 3mm drill just for cleaning it out. that's now quite clear. Okay, I'm back inside now with the burner, and before we put it all back together again, I'm just going to hoover everything out. You'll often find that there's a lot of fluff that gets drawn in by the action of the burner, so again, this isn't too bad, but I'll just give it a quick whiz round with the suction nozzle of the hoover just to make sure it's all clean. Now I'll flip this over and replace the oil feed pipe. And tighten it with a 12mm spanner. Like that. Now I'll replace the wicks. Put the cover on the crucible and then put the shells on. I don't think it matters, but I tend to put the seam towards the back. It's only the outermost shell where you must do that because that's got the little hole for lighting with a match. Make sure this cover is directly towards the front. Finally, put the cover on, and then you can slide the whole assembly back into the Aga. And then tighten up the oil supply pipe. Like that. I tend not to over tighten these joints because the oil's not under pressure and I'm always worried about damaging the threads. Then we can replace the burner door, and this Aga is all ready for lighting now. Like that. And that's the end of servicing my Aga.